Annalise Nielsen is Sky News Washington correspondent, and I'm so glad to say that. And it's very early in the morning, yet she still looks $1 million. This is how you wake up every morning, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. It's an early call, but getting used to the odd times, filing for Australia, so no complaints here.
All right, now, Swampy Joe, he's back in charge, surrounded by all of the swamp creatures. Does it feel, you know, a lovely return to normal there in the heart of the beast?
Well, you know, Washington, D.C. is about as blue as it gets. And it has been interesting being here for the last couple of weeks because we've had just the most insane consecutive Wednesdays between the riots at the Capitol, then the impeachment, then inauguration. Things have kind of gotten back to normal, but yeah, people are bouncing off the walls here. I've had people just, when you say hello in a coffee shop, will just say, isn't it a beautiful time again? And kind of wax lyrical. And you can just feel how bad this is going to get in America because people are so divided while they're walking on cloud nine here. You can bet that out in the rest of the country, people aren't feeling as crash hot.
Yeah, head to Florida. Have a chat to them sometime soon. Texas, you know, other places around that I know you know oh so well. Now, one thing that we have seen over the past couple of weeks, and look, again, I don't know, I've got to do this long disclaimer because if I don't, somehow someone will find a way to cancel me, right? Clearly what happened to the Capitol was ridiculous. Those people deserve to go to jail. There's no question about it. But I do question the 23,000 troops that are going to kind of be there all the way till March because, you know, parts of YouTube say that that's when it all might happen again. How do people in Washington feel about the permanent military presence when it seems like there was plenty of evidence that the FBI warned the Capitol security. There was plenty of warnings about how this crowd might have got out of control, yet it feels like security theatre backfilling something that they stuffed up the first time around, not being prepared for.
You kind of have to look at it in context of, I know the pictures look really drastic of the military presence, and that was pretty extraordinary to see that inauguration like that. But this is at a time when the city's basically been shut down for a year anyway, and so a lot of people aren't coming into the city. It's already quite dead. The local restaurants and cafes have only just come off being shut down for indoor dining, and they're at 25%. It's really dead here anyway. And the DC is a city that does get to enjoy the perks of a lot of federal funding coming its way, quite small, quite enforceable local government. And so a lot of local businesses have had a lot of support that you're not seeing in other states across the country. Or I know it's a district, of course, but when you look at the actual experience of it, there's also been this long-running presence of violence and protests. The windows have been boarded up on and off in DC since last March anyway. So it's kind of a bit of the old adage of the frog in the pot of boiling water, how it doesn't notice how the temperature keeps getting turned up on it. It's kind of at that point for so many people here because it's just the next thing. So, and it really was so depressing watching the inauguration.
Absolutely. And again, I repeat, for those that are half listening, for those that are ready to dob on Twitter, those people should go to jail. No question, okay? As for the former president, he's now in Florida. An impeachment process is playing out now. They're going to wait a couple of weeks to shove some things through the Senate that are not about that before we go to a trial. Trump world believes this is the opportunity to finally stand up in front of the world and show how the election was rigged. Biden world says no, it's time to rule a line through. This bloke never gets to run again. 2/3 of the Senate need to vote for him to be impeached. If he is to be found guilty, then he can never run again. But establishment Republicans, they want him gone. They want him flushed. They want him out. They're happy for the base to be the base of the party, but nowhere near the front of the party. I know about Mitt Romney, but are we anywhere near 17 or something Republicans that would be needed to actually make sure that he could never run again?
Not yet, but these are really unprecedented times. I know we flog that term to death, but this is the time, you're absolutely right, that the establishment Republicans do want to excise the Donald Trump factor from the party. And what we have seen is that Mitch McConnell could be really putting the weight of his presence behind Donald Trump, and he's not. What we've seen Mitch McConnell do is just not say much at all, and that's really quite a strong signal in and of itself. What they have done is pushed back the date. The trial could have been starting from today, but what they've negotiated, because the Senate is split at the moment, is to have it at least 2 weeks away so they can size up their legal arguments. But I think it'll be watching what Mitch McConnell does, because the reporting has also been that privately he's quite pleased about the impeachment. And if he tells his supporters, look, we can vote for this impeachment, so then we can have a vote to stop him running again, which is quite possible, they might just do it.
And then the revenge, of course, comes in the primary process in 2 years' time, in 4 years' time, in 6 years' time, when, even 5% of, as we saw in Georgia, that if a certain part of Trump's voters don't turn up, then Republicans can't win anywhere. And it's exactly what the Democrats want, like permanent rule with the internal civil war of the Republican Party. So my suggestion is Trump stays in for longer before maybe something happens a little closer to the election. But Annalise, we've got plenty of chats between now and then. It'll happen every Monday night at about this time. So I'm so glad you're there, and all the best, mate.
Thanks, Paul.